thank you for your feedback. I would love to hear your questions.
All right, there's a ton of questions. To be honest, we won't be able to get to nearly all of them. I tried to skim through to see if I could find some ones that were kind of relevant to the new 1.9 features that we're releasing here. One was, will the image processing work on radiology images like X-rays?
Yes. I mean, if the image isn't like 5,000 megabytes or so, then it should be fine. If it's super big, then you need to have a bigger GPU, right? A GPU that has 32 gigabytes of memory, for example, or something. And you will talk to our grandmasters that are doing those image competitions to figure out what is the best recipe for that specific recipe. For that specific use case. But we are working together with large pharmaceutical companies on just those use cases. So there's definitely a need for that, and we're addressing it this way. And
yeah, I think the cool thing is you have CPUs, so you could use CPUs to do, we can vectorize the images and use CPUs, but we're GPU enabled, right? So if the use case demands GPU power, like you have that and you can use that, and it's just much more flexible than some other things I've seen out there. All right, let's see if we can find some other questions here. When will people be able to try this? They want a trial. Like, when will they be able to get their hands on it?
My best guess right now is next week. I promised the team next week will be a release of 1.9. So the fingers crossed we'll get it out. We're in final testing right now, and I was able to make all these demos on the real product. So it's ready. It is 1.9.0, so it's not an LTS yet, but we will deem it LTS grade later this year, in a month or 2 or 3, depending on how it goes, how customers react. And then we will support this version as the next LTS. And also one thing to mention is all your experiments you ran in 1.8 will still work in 1.9. So we did not deprecate anything. You can predict, you can score, you can, Mojo will continue to work. You can look at them in MLI. Many things are just perfect. Like even custom recipes will continue to work. We do massive amounts of testing that this is all the case. So you will not lose your stuff, but it might not be the same way in 2 months for some of these new features. They might change slightly. So that's why we don't deem it LTS yet in the beginning. It's not because it's buggy, it's just that it's not the final long-term stable state that many of the enterprises expect from an LTS version. But we will not ship anything that's buggy, right? We will just ship less until it's good, and then we ship it. So the quality is extremely high. We test more than ever, day and night, and the team has done a great job in the last months and years to really make sure that no matter what data you throw at this, it will work. No matter how many GPUs you have or don't have, no matter how many experiments you run at the same time of what kind, TensorFlow, PyTorch, NLP, whatever, it will run.
Looks like we have maybe time for one more question. And this is a simple one, but I think a good one. What is Mojo scoring, right? And how is it used? I think this just hits at one of the heart key differentiators for the platform.
Yeah, let me show you in the beginning this slide again here. So what really happens is we convert our Python pickled state, let's say, that we fitted in the model.fit command we do internally, and we convert that to a serialized protobuf definition of what's in that fitted state. So the fitted model, tree splits, the embeddings for neural nets, the split points for binning, the lookup tables for target encoding, all those things are listed on 100 megabytes of bytes, right? And that is being loaded by a runtime that's either Java or C++. And hence, you can run it in anything that has to do with any database, any Spark, Hadoop, Kafka, you name it. It can run on a MacBook. It can run wherever, because all it has to do is load this protobuf that came out of Google to serialize anything. And once it's loaded, all you need is a runtime that says, oh, given this, I need to do this, to score. So when a new row comes in, you basically take our runtime, you marry it with this state. This is this example here. This DII Mojo model is the runtime, and the state is this Mojo file. So the runtime loads the state, and then you can make predictions. And this is the Mojo. It's really just a state that is the fitted thing that comes out. And it's not just a model, it's the whole feature engineering pipeline. And it could be hundreds and hundreds of features and 20 models all ensembled together, for example. The whole thing comes out as one blob of bytes, and you just plug it into the runtime and say predict.
Great. All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for. I'm going to turn it back over to Shabar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arno and Dan, for taking the time today doing a great presentation. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who joined us today. The presentation and slides and the recording will be made available on our follow-up email. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.
Thank you.